You finally meet someone who does not make you wonder where you stand. Their interest is consistent. You do not have to search for hidden meanings or spend the night wondering whether something has changed. This is the kind of connection you thought you wanted, but instead of feeling relieved, you feel strangely uncertain. There is no obvious problem. Still, something does not feel convincing. You question the attraction, the depth, whether something important is missing. And beneath those questions is one you may not know how to ask. This is what I said I wanted. So why doesn't it feel right? Sometimes, peace does not immediately feel peaceful. Sometimes, it simply feels unfamiliar. Without uncertainty, your emotions may feel quieter than before. You are not checking your phone every few minutes or replaying conversations late at night. And because the relationship occupies less space in your mind, you may assume it occupies less space in your heart. Maybe there is no chemistry. Maybe love is supposed to feel more intense than this. But occupying your mind is not always the same as reaching your heart. A calm relationship is not automatically a loving one. But the absence of anxiety is not automatically the absence of love. So why can uncertainty feel more convincing than steadiness? In an uncertain relationship, small moments can carry enormous emotional weight. A message arrives after hours of silence, and your whole body relaxes. The person becomes distant, and you review everything you said. Then warmth returns, and the connection suddenly feels stronger than before. You move between tension and relief. That movement creates intensity. It makes the relationship feel urgent and impossible to ignore. But part of that intensity may come from never knowing when the connection will be available. The end of uncertainty can feel like closeness. The return of attention can feel like proof of love. Intensity and connection can exist together, but they are not always the same thing. Inside a difficult relationship, you may know exactly what to do. You know how to wait, notice small changes, and prepare for disappointment. The experience may hurt, but it is not completely unknown. It gives you a role. It gives you a map. When someone pulls away, you know how to move toward them. When affection becomes uncertain, you know how to work harder for it. The pain may not feel good, but it may feel understandable. And what you understand can feel less frightening than a peace you have never learned to navigate. You may not have wanted the pain. You may simply have known who to become inside it. Somewhere along the way, closeness may have become connected to effort. You learned to notice what others needed before expressing what you needed, to remain useful, patient, or emotionally undemanding. Maybe attention became more available when you behaved in a certain way, or previous relationships taught you that love could disappear unless you kept proving your value. It may have formed slowly across many experiences. Over time, love and effort may have started occupying the same emotional space. You did not only learn what love felt like, you learned who you had to become to receive it. So when love appears without requiring the familiar struggle, you may not recognize the signals. A steady relationship does not ask you to perform the same emotional work. You do not have to recover affection or prove that you are worth choosing. You can express a need without assuming the connection will disappear. This should feel freeing, but it can also leave you disoriented. If struggle was always part of how you recognize love, what happens when the struggle is gone? If you do not have to earn the connection, how do you know it is real? Healthy love may feel unfamiliar because it does not ask you to become the version of yourself that pain once required. There is no distance to decode, no role to perform, not because you miss being hurt, but because you no longer know what you are supposed to do. And when the mind has no map for peace, it may begin searching for something it recognizes. You begin noticing flaws that did not matter before. A neutral moment looks like emotional distance. Consistent affection feels almost too easy to trust. This does not necessarily mean you are deliberately destroying something good. It may be an attempt to return to an emotional position you understand. A problem gives you something to solve. Distance gives you something to recover. Uncertainty gives you a reason to remain alert. If something is wrong, you know how to respond. If nothing is wrong, you must remain inside a kind of peace you have not yet learned how to interpret. And that leads to the distinction at the center of this pattern. Familiarity is not the same as safety. Familiarity says, I know this place. Safety says, I can exist here without constantly protecting myself. Familiarity is knowing how to anticipate the pain. Safety is not having to organize your emotional life around its arrival. Familiarity is knowing who you must become to preserve love. Safety allows you to remain whole while receiving it. Something can feel familiar because you learned how to survive inside it, not because it was good for you. Understanding the rules of pain is not the same as being protected from it. You may not have felt safe in the pain. You may simply have felt more prepared for it. Feeling uncomfortable with peace does not mean you want to suffer, and it does not mean you are destined to repeat the same relationships forever. Maybe you are not rejecting healthy love. Maybe you are still learning how to recognize love when it does not arrive through struggle. At first, fewer emotional highs may feel like something is missing, but perhaps peace simply has not been present long enough to feel familiar. Something new can feel uncertain before it begins to feel safe, even when it is gentler than everything you knew before. Healthy love may feel quiet at first, simple, predictable, almost too calm. But quiet does not have to mean empty. It may mean there is nothing you are being asked to chase. Predictability may mean affection is no longer being withdrawn to keep you alert. What once felt empty may begin to feel spacious. What once felt quiet may begin to feel steady. And what once felt unfamiliar may begin to feel like somewhere you no longer have to protect yourself. Not because every uncertainty disappears, but because love no longer requires you to abandon yourself in order to preserve it. Over time, peace can create its own emotional memory, and a connection that seemed less intense may reveal something intensity could never guarantee. The freedom to remain yourself without constantly earning the right to be loved. If this video gave language to something you have lived but never fully understood, subscribe to Quiet Clarity now. This channel explores the hidden emotional patterns shaping how you think, connect, and protect yourself. And continue with the next video on screen. There may be another part of your story waiting to become clear.